Hello everybody, welcome back to the United Stand. It's road trip time, or some of you have said it's the not so road trip because I'm stood outside Old Trafford just talking about the game. So why don't you call it a preview? In fact, why don't you just name it anything that you want to? It's up to you guys. You're the subscribers. You name what you want it to. You know what I mean? I'm talking about Leeds tomorrow night, Old Trafford under the floodlights, Manchester United against Leeds. What a game this is in Premier League history. Well, if you go back and you know as far back as when Leeds were in the Premier League, I think we talk about this every year about how big this rivalry is. It's a Category A game. The boards are going up right next to the Munich memorial there. It is a massive game for the fans, probably more than on paper right now. If you're sort of like a modern day football fan, you don't know how big this game is. I remember last season when we went down to Elland Road to do a pre-game preview, and it just felt eerie around Elland Road, just around there, and just anyone who's United related just doesn't feel welcome around Elland Road. That's how Manchester United need to be when Leeds roll into town. The boards are up, like I said. Everyone will be escorted off, the coaches in from the Leeds section. That's how big it is. It's a massive game, and one of big importance right now for both clubs. Obviously, Leeds United off the back of Jesse Marsch being fired on Monday. No one's seen that coming. Well, we did. You sort of a 50-50 split on whether you thought Jesse Marsch was actually making progress or not. It looked nice, it looked pretty, but the results were poor, and in the end, there he goes. Do Manchester United have to deal with another manager bounce? A new manager bounce. We know how bad that is for us. We know how we've dealt with them in the past. Remember Unai Emery, Aston Villa? I can remember a few years back as well when this was a problem for United dealing with it. It always seems to be a tough away game. And obviously this game is at home tomorrow, and we know that it's caretaker charge for Leeds in terms of the management setup and who's sat in the dugout. But on Sunday against Leeds, in the second part of this tie, you're looking at a different ball game altogether. Will they have a manager in place? Ifs, buts, maybes, as always, we don't know. But for now, we're going to concentrate on what's happening here at Old Trafford tomorrow night. A chance for Manchester United to go level on points with Manchester City. Wow, yeah, that's all you've got to say about that. 5 points behind Arsenal, and then everyone will come back at me and say, obviously, oh, calm down, Adam. There's games in hand and everything like that. Stop getting giddy with yourself with your silly treble talk and all that, blah blah. I don't care. Yeah, it puts the pressure on, and guess what? One of them games in hand is City against Arsenal. It just adds pressure on them. No. Honestly, if you ask me now, yeah, I was probably getting a bit carried away early in the season with our form because we was good. But in the middle of this fixture pile-up now, I'm realising how tough it is going to be for United with players dropping out here, there, and squad depth's going to be a problem to even mount a title challenge. But just to put pressure on that top two, and let's be fair, yeah, do you know what? Here at Manchester United, we do things by the book. Now, we don't cheat, do we? We don't con the system for 12 years, do we? Eh? And you know what I'm talking about. Well, that's another video on its own, another debate. Let's let the powers that be deal with that one. So effectively we're second right now. No, stop it. I'm going to stop there. We are still third, yes, but we have to win these simple games. And then I go back to saying simple when it's Leeds. I just said the biggest rivalry in Premier League history for a fan. It isn't simple. It's going to be tough. I think Leeds come here tomorrow and just act. I think, in a way, if you had anything about you as a manager, I said this on the press conference after the press conference reaction after Ten Hag was talking. If Leeds have got anything about them, they just go and put 11 men behind the ball and try and catch United on the break. Nonto on the break, pace, fast, can catch United cold. If there was a blueprint for beating Manchester United, that's it. I think the longer the game goes on, I've always said this season especially, Manchester United are strong and will always have a chance. You have to hit United early. You look at every single game we've lost this season, we've been hit early doors. Apart from the Arsenal game, that was just actually a good game. But all the others, you think about it, the Brightons, the Brentfords, the Cities, the Villas, we've been hit early. And that's when we've suffered. That's when it's hit us. Manchester United in a game for long periods, then I would always bank on United winning it. Look what's happened. Look what happened with City the other week, at Old Trafford. You know what I mean? We got the job done in the end, and anyone here coming to Old Trafford knows they're in a game right now. Manchester United at home, 13 wins in a row. Best home defence in the league at Old Trafford here. And Leeds coming to town off the back of what? 1 win in the last 7? Is it something like that? Jesse Marsch sacked. No one knows what team's going to turn up tomorrow. No one knows what tactics it's going to be. I think United should be really confident. I've gone bullish at 4-1, me. I think I just see goals in this. I see Leeds, they do have a threat, and I said this before again, but Leeds' goals always seem to come when it doesn't matter. They get goals here and there, but it's like when they're 3-0 down or 2-0 down. Too little, too late all the time. I feel United will get in front. I think Leeds then will come out a little bit more. I think United will punish them. Unless they approach the game like I think they should, but I just don't think they will. I think Leeds are just embedded in this world of unknown at the moment of how to play and what their best setup is. Jesse Marsch was making progress in certain areas, but it's fallen away, and obviously results matter more than anything, and just hovering above the relegation zone, I think they've looked at what Villa have done, and they've looked at what Everton have done. Teams around them or were around them, that new manager bounce, it's helped a little bit. Didn't quite work for Southampton, but again, another issue for them to deal with. But I think they've just looked at it and gone, how much time do we need a new manager? How much time do we need to give the new manager to actually get us out of this relegation battle? And that's exactly what they've done, I think, and that's why they've reacted now in February. Giving them enough time, they're not in the relegation zone now, and they should have enough. If they get that system right, and they get that balance right, to stay up. But it doesn't start here at Old Trafford tomorrow night for me. I think United will have way too much for them. As much of a fight which Leeds will put up, and they will, the fans will be boisterous, the atmosphere should be electric. I do believe that Manchester United should have way too much for Leeds, and in the end come out comfortable enough winners. Now, I've said this before many a times, and the titles on my thumbnails and everything on these road trips have sometimes come back to bite me in the arse, but I am confident that Manchester United, off the back of 13 straight home wins, have got enough to beat Leeds fourth and bottom. I do think that Manchester United will come out comfortable and hopefully unscathed, because right now we're sort of dealing with more injuries than we need to be with this pile up of games. Anthony, the latest victim, Ten Hag announced it in his press conference. He is now out. I don't know how long for yet. I haven't heard the embargoed version of the press conference yet, so maybe we get a bit more detail on that injury then. But obviously we know Casemiro is going to be missing from this game in the heart of midfield. United did not appeal the suspension to the FA. A few rumours were about that we might do. As usual, I usually get a big truck coming past me as I'm doing my road trip. Every single time. I'm sure it's these guys behind just see me filming and go, let's just go in and do it. So I'm just going to talk a load of rabble while this big Arctic just rolls past. Hopefully he's got a good sort of view on how things go down here on the United stand. Come on. Yeah, just stop there and have a chat with him, why don't you? Lovely. Yeah, anyway, this is what happens when you're filming on the road, you just deal with it. Back to where I was. Wait for the noise as the barriers go back up in a second. But yeah, in terms of United now, we approach this team selection wise. You're looking at it and you're going, Sabitzer should come straight in for Casemiro. Then you've got an option there. You've got Garnacho, you've got Sancho who's now training again. You could have a few different combinations in that front line right now. I mean, I posed the question in the press conference reaction video yesterday, which was, who would you rather have in that front three now? There's a few combinations that came out. Weghorst, Rashford on the left, Sancho on the right. You could have Rashford in the middle, Garnacho on the left, Sancho on the right. I think most people are thinking we are going to see Weghorst in the middle, Rashford on the right, and then Garnacho on the left as a replacement. I think sacrifice will be made in Rashford going on the right-hand side. Again, I don't like Ten Hag doing it, but every time he does it, it somehow proves me wrong and we get the result. So, yeah, we'll see what he goes with. Midfield is probably the key area, to be fair. There's no reason why Sabitzer doesn't start this game. I think even if Ten Hag and his methods of trying to ease players in go out the window with this one, we literally haven't got anyone else. I disagreed with people who wanted to bring Lindelof in to central midfield, maybe Martinez who's played there before. That's not for me. You guys may differ. Obviously, drop your comments in below. How would you set up the midfield and the front three? I think the back four takes care of itself. Some calls for Dalot to come back, who is obviously fit. I wouldn't change Aaron Wan-Bissaka right now. Definitely not if he's up against Gnonto as well and that Leeds attack. I think if there's one defender I would want on a tricky winger who's got pace in a one-on-one situation, it's probably Wan-Bissaka, to be fair. I think he's just that unknown defender, and I think he causes problems for them types of forwards just because they don't know which way Bissaka's going to go, because he doesn't know half the time. He's just that awkward defender that you want when you're up against someone like that. So yeah, I wouldn't change the back line. Martinez and Varane, I mean, yeah, you'd be silly to even want to change that right now. And obviously Luke Shaw, who's in the form of his life, in my opinion, at left back. I just feel like we are missing a little bit when we take Rashford away from Shaw on that side. Yes, Garnacho has done well with Shaw alongside him there on that left-hand side at times when he's played. I think it's happened more when Shaw has been off the bench, when Garnacho's been off the bench though. So whether Garnacho gets another chance tomorrow night from the start, I think it's going to be interesting to see and monitor exactly how he plays, because his best stuff has come off the bench. His impact has been very good there. Oh, I trust Ten Hag to get us through this game. Move on. I mean, Barcelona feels really close, and we've got 2 more games before Barcelona. This is how crazy it is right now. I think Ten Hag is dealing with it right. He's not looking too far ahead, because something like Antony and Eriksen and Casemiro can happen any week right now. And you can't really plan ahead with this many games. It's 2 or 3 games a week, and you just no way of planning it out or what could happen in any individual game. Antony out, Casemiro out. You know what I mean? Martial, let's not even go there. He was never there in the first place, was he? But that's it. I mean, I still feel confident. I think United will get the job done. I'm going with 4-1. I feel a little bit like I've gone over the top with that now after what I've just said, but I'm going to stick with 4-1. I'm going to have to now anyway, because it's gone up on the Twitter feed. So, yeah, that's me, my prediction. Let me know what you think. Drop your comments in below. What's your score prediction? Who's your team? Who's playing for Antony? Who's coming in for Casemiro? And like, share and subscribe to United Stand, everybody. I will see you outside Old Trafford. Let's do this. Come on.